2 Samuel 13. Absalom, son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, her half-brother, son of David, loved her. And Amnon was so troubled that he fell sick for his half-sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and Amnon thought it impossible for him to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, son of Shimea, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very crafty man. He said to Amnon, "Why are you, the king's son, so lean and weak-looking from day to day? Will you not tell me?" And Amnon said to him, "I love Tamar, my half-brother Absalom's sister." Jonadab said to him, "Go to bed and pretend you are sick. And when your father David comes to see you, say to him, 'Let my sister Tamar come and give me food and prepare it in my sight, that I may see it and eat it from her hand.'" So Amnon lay down and pretended to be sick, and when the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, "I pray you, let my sister Tamar come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat from her hand." Then David sent home and told Tamar, "Go now to your brother Amnon's house and prepare food for him." Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was in bed, and she took dough and kneaded it and made cakes in his sight and baked them. She took the bedpan and emptied it out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, "Send everyone out from me." So everyone went out from him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food here into my bedroom, so I may eat from your hand." So Tamar took the cakes she had made and brought them into the room to Amnon her brother. And when she brought them to him, he took hold of her and said, "Come lie with me, my sister." She replied, "No, my brother, do not force and humble me, for no such thing should be done in Israel. Do not do this foolhardy, scandalous thing." And how could I rid myself of my shame? And you'll be considered one of the stupid fools in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray you, speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you. But he would not listen to her, and being stronger than she, he forced her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that his hatred for her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, "Get up and get out." But she said, "No, this great evil of sending me away is worse than what you did to me." But he would not listen to her. He called the servant who served him and said, "Put this woman out of my presence now, and bolt the door after her." Now Tamar was wearing a long robe with sleeves and of various colors, for in such robes were the king's virgin daughters clad of old. Then Amnon's servant brought her out and bolted the door after her, and she put ashes on her head and tore the long-sleeved robe which she wore, and she laid her hand on her head and went away, shrieking and wailing. And Absalom, her brother, said to her, "Has your brother Amnon been with you? Be quiet now, my sister. He is your brother. Take not this matter to heart." So Tamar dwelt in her brother Absalom's house, a desolate woman. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very angry. And Absalom spoke to Amnon, neither good nor bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he had humbled his sister Tamar. After 2 full years, Absalom had sheep shearers at Baal-hazor near Ephraim, and Absalom invited all the king's sons. Absalom came to the king and said, "Behold, your servant has sheep shearers. I pray you, let the king and his servant go with your servant." And the king said to Absalom, "No, my son, let us not all go, lest we be burdensome to you." Absalom urged David. Still he would not go, but he blessed him. Then said Absalom, "If not, I pray you, let my brother Amnon go with us." And the king said to him, "Why should he go with you?" But Absalom urged him, and he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom commanded his servant, "Notice now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Fear not, have I not commanded you, be courageous and brave." And the servant of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man mounted his mule and fled. While they were on the way, the word came to David, "Absalom has killed all the king's sons, and not one of them is left." Then the king arose and tore his garments and lay on the floor, and all his servants standing by tore their clothes. But Jonadab, son of Shimea, David's brother, said, "Let not my lord suppose they have killed all the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead. This purpose has shown itself on Absalom's determined mouth ever since the day Amnon humiliated his sister Tamar. So let not my Lord, the King, take the thing to heart and think all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. But Absalom fled, and the young man who kept the watch looked up, and behold, many people were coming by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said to the king, "See, the king's sons are coming. It is as your servant said." And as he finished speaking, the king's sons came and lifted up their voices and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very bitterly. But Absalom fled and went to his mother's father, Talmai, son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son Amnon every day. So Absalom fled to Geshur and was there 3 years. And the spirit of King David longed to go forth to Absalom, for he was comforted about Amnon, seeing that he was dead. 안녕하세요. 소중한 지다카님, 감사합니다. Hi, precious OY, OY, the great. Thank you so much. God bless you. 혹시 읽고 싶은 성경 구절 있으세요? Do you have any Bible verse you like to read? 이 가문의 비극을 계속 읽기에 지금 정신이 좀 없는 것 같아요. 안녕하세요, 소중한 사인님. 감사합니다. 그냥 랜덤으로 펼쳤어요. First Corinthians chapter 10 고린도전서 10장 For I do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, that our forefathers were all under and protected by the cloud in which God's presence went before them, and every one of them passed safely through the Red Sea. And each one of them allowed himself also to be baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. They were thus brought under obligation to the law, to Moses, and to the covenant consecrated and set apart to the service of God. And all of them ate the same spiritual, supernaturally given food, and they all drank the same spiritual, supernaturally given drink. For they drank from a spiritual rock which followed them, produced by the sole power of God Himself. without natural instrumentality, and the rock was Christ. Nevertheless, God was not pleased with the great majority of them, for they were overthrown and strewn down along the ground in the wilderness. Now, these things are examples, warnings, and admonitions for us not to desire or crave or covet or lust after evil and carnal things as they did. Do not be worshippers of false gods, as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink the sacrifices offered to the golden calf at Horeb, and rose to sport, to dance and give way to jesting and hilarity. We must not gratify evil desire and indulge in immorality as some of them did, and 23,000 suddenly fell dead in a single day. We should not tempt the Lord, try His patience, become a trial to Him, critically appraise Him, and exploit His goodness as some of them did, and were killed by poisonous serpents. Now, discontentedly complain as some of them did, and were put out of the way entirely by the destroyer, death. Now, these things befell them by way of a figure, as an example and warning to us. They were written to admonish and feed us for right action by good instruction, we in whose days the ages have reached their climax, their consummation and concluding period. Therefore, let anyone who thinks he stands, who feels sure that he has a steadfast mind and is standing firm, take heed lest they fall into sin. For no temptation, no trial regarded as enticing to sin, no matter how it comes or where it leads, has overtaken you and laid hold on you, that is not common to man. That is no temptation or trial has come to you that is beyond human resistance, and that is not adjusted and adapted and belonging to human experience, and such as man can bear. But God is faithful to His word and to His compassionate nature. And He can be trusted not to let you be tempted and tried and assayed beyond your ability and strength of resistance and power to endure, but with the temptation, He will always also provide the way out, the means of escape to a landing place, that you may be capable and strong and powerful to bear up under it patiently. Therefore, my dearly beloved, shun, keep clear away from, avoid by flight, if need be, any sort of idolatry, of loving tolerating anything more than God. I am speaking as to intelligent, sensible man. Think over and make up your mind for yourselves about what I say. I appeal to your reason and your discernment in these matters. The cup of blessing of wine at the Lord's Supper, upon which we ask God's blessing, does it not mean that in drinking it we participate in and share a fellowship, a communion in the blood of Christ, the Messiah? The bread which we break, does it not mean that in eating it we participate in and share a fellowship, a communion in the body of Christ? For we, no matter how numerous we are one body, because we all partake of the one bread, the one whom the communion bread represents. Consider those physically people of Israel are not those who eat the sacrifices, partners of the altar, united in their worship of the same God. What do I imply then? That food offered to idols is intrinsically changed by the fact and amounts to anything, or that an idol itself is a living thing. No, I am suggesting that what the pagans sacrifice they offer in effect to demons, to evil spiritual powers, and not to God at all. I do not want you to fellowship and be partners with diabolical spirits by eating at their feast. You cannot drink the Lord's cup and the demon's cup. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and the demon's table. Shall we thus provoke the Lord to jealousy and anger and indignation? Are we stronger than He, that we should defy Him? All things are legitimate, permissible, and we are free to do anything we please. But not all things are helpful, expedient, profitable, and wholesome. All things are legitimate, but not all things are constructive to character and edifying to spiritual life. Let no one then seek his own good and advantage and profit, but rather each one of the other let him seek the welfare of his neighbor. As to meat offered to idols, eat anything that is sold in the meat market without raising any question or investigating on the grounds of conscientious scruples. For the whole earth is the Lord's, and everything that is in it. In case one of the unbelievers invite you to a meal and you want to go, eat whatever is served to you without examining into each source because of conscientious scruples. But if someone tells you this has been offered in sacrifice to an idol, do not eat it out of consideration for the person who informed you and for conscience's sake. I mean, for the sake of his conscience, not yours. Do not eat it, for why should another man's scruples apply to me and my liberty of action be determined by his conscience. If I partake of my food with thankfulness, why am I accused and spoken? So then, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you may do, do all for the honor and glory of God. Do not let yourselves be hindrances by giving an offense to the Jews or to the Greeks or to the Church of God. Do not lead others into sin by your mode of life, just as myself strive to please, to accommodate myself to the opinions, desires, and interests of others, adapting myself to all men in everything I do, not aiming at or considering my own profit and advantage, but that of the many, in order that they may be saved. Precious Elgay, thank you so much. May God bless you. 안녕하세요. 소중한 I love you님. 감사합니다. Thank you so much for sharing this precious time together. May God's peace, His love, and blessings be with you always. God bless you. I love you in Jesus.